how to size a pattern to yourself, how to choose what you want to make, how to I told her what I wanted the dress to look like.
Mm-hmm.
So she took the box of patterns and she showed me how you can interchange them
Oh, wow.
from sleeves
Mm-hmm.
to tops to skirts. And all this time when I had a question, well, it's this way. And then she showed me how to put the pattern on the material and cut it out
Mm-hmm.
and how to sew it.
Okay.
And she did it all in one weekend.
Wow.
And I finished the dress.
Mm-hmm.
She also showed me how to embroidery a buttonhole.
Mm-hmm.
And believe it or not, that 12-year-old little girl had a pretty dress that I was proud to wear to
Mhm.
the school program.
Mm-hmm.
And my mama had taught me more in one weekend than I later saw home economics teachers cover in a whole semester.
Well, that's great.
But it never
That's
went
interesting.
away. And I have been designing and making clothes the
Mhm.
rest of my life.
Well, I found it very inspirational that when you have the shingles, and you lost the use of your right hand, that and this happened when you were, let's see, 84, and you taught yourself how to sew and how to do everything over again left-handed, and I thought that was really
Well, the human body is a
inspirational.
wonderful machine.
Mm-hmm.
I was taught that it heals itself.
Mhm.
When we were young, this is true.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, there's lots of stories pro and con on that, but we did all right with it. And besides, my mother was such a good nurse by the time I came along that she was almost like a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
When I had the shingles, my hand was drawn immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I had been so proud of my penmanship that I learned later in life and all the things that I did and so forth and so on. And I think I got the surgery before I had the shingles. I'm not sure. I'm sure I did. And I went back to the what's this school down here? Whatever. Back to school and learned how to use the serger. And
Mhm.
it's a corker.
Mhm.
You have to learn because there are a million little pieces in it.
You almost have to program it.
Yeah. Well, mine is pretty much programmed, but
Mhm.
you have to know how to thread it. Anyway, I had learned that, and of course I could always use scissors.
Mm-hmm.
But I have always had a paper cutter since I learned about them in the 4th grade. I loved them, and I've had one in my home most of my life.
Mm-hmm.
So, when my hand was paralyzed,
Yeah.
and here I am, faced with not being able to use scissors,
Mm-hmm.
can't write with that hand, but I learned I could write with my left hand because I had used it when I was teaching little kids years ago, and I'd sit down in a chair with them and use my left hand to show them how to write.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that came back to me, and that's how I learned to write. But instead of scissors, I learned to use rotary cutters.
Mm.
And my sewing went from making clothing and so forth to simpler things.
Mm-hmm.
And I found, have had lots of fun making satin pillowcases because they are so precious to everybody. Plus, with that serger and my baby machine, I have it down pretty pat. And it's something I could do when I felt like it. And it was very good therapy for me.
That's neat. There's something else I just remembered that I forgot to ask. Did you have a best friend?
Oh, I started out with best friends. I had 6 sisters, of course. Some were better friends than others, I suppose. And through school, I had friends. Some I could pick out, but I never was a girl who had such best friends that my life rotated around her. I kind of like the boys.
You like the boys?
Even in second grade. But anyway, later on the Doodlebug crew, you have wonderful women friends
Mm-hmm.
because it's like family.
Right.
So I have wonderful, wonderful friends. In that group, and in the later years, Doris Blaisdell has been one of them that is so close and so forth. But there are so many that I couldn't start naming them all. But the one that stands out in my later life, when Judy and Jim had their family at Grove, Beulah Beecham was an angel in disguise as far as I was concerned, because she lived up at Grove, right close to the kids, and here I am down here, can't be with them all the time. And she was the nearest thing to a sister that I have ever had, because she worked so closely with the grandchildren at Grove,
Mm-hmm.
and I did it here in Tulsa. So
Mhm.
that Beulah is one of my best friends. But I got to jump back.
Mm-hmm.
When Judy was, they were about 5th or 6th grade in Shawnee,
Mm-hmm.
I really had a good best friend. Maxine Price.
Oh, okay.
Her husband had a shoe store downtown Shawnee.
Mm-hmm.
I was a stay-home mother with 2 little kids, living out on Market Street by Edison School, spending all my time at school. I wasn't teaching, but I was in and out of school all the time, and so Maxine took care of the kids downtown, anything they were doing, Judy and Carolyn, and I took care of anything that they did out at school. So Maxine was a wonderful friend too. But see, I can't name them all. That I just had so many, many good friends.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, one last question. What is your secret to having a sound mind and a long life? At 91, you've got to have some advice to the rest of us. I don't know too many 91-year-olds that have a mind as sound as yours and can discuss things, you know, and
I
share your
learned-
memories like you do.
I learned that things come up that you didn't know about.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know much about a lot of things. A lot of things that happen to children and so forth, that like retardation and so forth. And homosexuality was just a word as I grew up. As I grew older, and as I learned in later life, I found that they're all God's children. Now I'm coming back to what I learned in my wide experience with religions.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is the child of Christ. Everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what he's done. He wasn't. God didn't want him to do that, but he's still a child of Christ. So I am not here to judge that child. That's God's job. And so, about the time I was turning, even after 80, I really had some soul searching and to come to this conclusion. And I am not the judge and jury of those people. So I don't say he's going to hell because he has a drink, or I don't approve of drugs, and I don't know much about drugs. But I know that people do drugs, but I am not here to judge them for that. I am not here to judge them for their sexuality or their mental capacity. Of course, I want everybody to be smart and so forth and so on, but it didn't turn out like that. So, the thing that's helped me is to try not to be so judgmental. I know I'm very critical because I want everything so good. But in those years that I was forming those ideas, I made some wonderful friends. And I'm the only 91-year-old woman that I know that can count 6 or 8 friends who are less than 50 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Because the mistake we make as we get older, we don't make any new young friends.
Mm.
And of course you're not going to have any kids that old. So here I am, 91 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and I have these wonderful, wonderful people. And some of them I thought I'd befriend them and because they need this or that, and it turned out I didn't do a thing. They just do for me all
Mhm.
the time. So don't forget to make young friends, and please let the judging stay in God's hands.
I'm into that. That's wonderful.
I think I've preached enough today. I sound more, I don't usually sound like a preacher. Oh. No, that's all.
What?
I take very little medicine.
Mm-hmm.
I have a doctor who agrees with me. If I take a medicine and it doesn't work, then
Mhm.
we switch to something else that does.
Mm.
So I don't take 110 pills. I have about 3 or 4 that I
Mhm.
take.
Mm-hmm.
And I watch it because I don't like taking medicine.
Mm-hmm. I know that's true. 'Cause
But
I've
I
tried to
use a
get you to
little
take some
alcohol once in a
sometime.
while, but
Yeah.
but you must rule it or it rules you.
Mhm.
So I try to keep, and besides, by the time you're 91, you don't have many sins you can get by with.
Enjoy.
Enjoy nothing much
Yeah.
that you can enjoy.
Yeah.
But anyway, and you get to the place where, well, I just tell God that well, I don't know why you've left me here today, but I'll do the best with it I can.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would just love to talk to other older people, 91 or so,
Mm-hmm.
because we all have physical disabilities,
Mm-hmm.
and how you're dealing with them and so forth. It would be very interesting. But I don't go out much now because I don't feel like it. I hurt my back.
Mm-hmm. Well, I told you I was going to try to set you up with
The lady.
a lady.
I'm going to see the lady in Grove.
Dad went to school with a woman named Karen. I think her last name's Leffler, but
That'd be
don't hold me to that. But anyway, she has a 91-year-old mother in Grove, and she's dying to talk to you. So
We'll do
we're going
that.
to try to do that. But finally, I just want to thank you, Grandma. Thank you for this wonderful series of interviews. I know your future generations are going to thank you for this, and we all love you, and we appreciate you.
Well, I appreciate all of you helping me in my life. Wonderful.
Okay. Well, let me focus in on you. Okay. Focus in. And there's your close-up. Smile. We love you.